A single father invited a mysterious military woman sitting in the freezing cold on Christmas Eve into his home. But when he discovered her identity, he was met with the shock of his life. Dad. Dad. Hurry. Tyler's scream sent Dr. Marcus Williams flying from the operating table at the clinic. His heart racing, he ran to the window. His son was pointing outside at a woman in the snowstorm, wearing a military jacket, motionless as if frozen. That woman has been sitting there for 6 hours. She'll freeze. Marcus grabbed his coat. Who was this woman? Why wasn't she asking for help? And why had she caused Tyler such distress? As he ran outside, he didn't know that his life would never be the same again. As Marcus crossed the street, he noticed the woman's details: a military jacket, but no hat, snow piled on her hair, and 12 missed calls on her phone. But what caught his attention most were her eyes, empty, lost, as if she had lost her soul. When the woman finally stood up and started walking toward the road, something stopped her. She turned around and looked at Marcus's house, warm yellow light spilling out of the windows, the sound of a child's laughter carried by the winter wind. Maybe I should ask her if she wants to join me for dinner, Marcus thought as he took a step toward the darkness. But when their eyes met across the frozen street, something flickered in the woman's expression. Recognition, fear, or perhaps something far more dangerous. Cedar Falls was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone else. The biggest excitement usually came from high school football games or the annual county fair. The town of 3,200, nestled between rolling hills and an endless sky, was 15 miles from Buckley Air Force Base. There were 2 traffic lights, a grocery store, and a diner that made the best apple pie in 3 counties. Marcus Williams had called this place home for 36 years, first as the mayor's son, then as the local veterinarian who took over Dr. Peterson's clinic when the elderly doctor retired. He lived in the 2-story house his grandfather had built, with his 7-year-old son, Tyler. The house had a wide porch and a red barn. The barn now served as the clinic's storage shed. Marcus was wearing his usual plaid shirt that night, blue with thin white stripes. His late wife Emma had said it made his eyes look like storm clouds. The blue knitted scarf around his neck was Emma's handiwork. She had finished it just a few weeks before the accident took her 3 years ago. As Marcus approached, there was something familiar about the woman's stillness, the helplessness of hospital waiting rooms. But this woman was different. She carried herself with military discipline, but there was something broken inside her. The woman looked up as Marcus crossed the street. She was younger than he had first thought, perhaps in her early 30s with dark hair pulled back into a practical ponytail. Her military jacket was old but clean, her jeans tucked into combat boots. She had the kind of face you see in old photographs, strong features and a serious expression, eyes that held more stories than any one person should carry. "Excuse me," Marcus said, his voice carrying easily in the crisp night air. "Are you all right here? It's getting pretty cold." The woman studied him for a moment, and Marcus noticed how steady her hands were despite the cold. How perfectly she sat, even on the uncomfortable bench. "I'm fine," she replied, but there was a slight tremor in her voice that had nothing to do with the cold. "Just thinking." Marcus made up his mind immediately. "I'm Marcus Williams. I'm sitting over there, waiting to have dinner with my son. Please, join us. No one should be out in this cold." Something flickered in the woman's eyes. Was it surprise, fear? "I'm Jessica Carter," she said finally, "and, yes, I can come." But Marcus didn't notice the tremor in Jessica's voice. The woman was actually afraid, because she had heard the name Marcus Williams before. As he walked toward her house, Marcus noticed how she moved with military precision, automatically scanning her surroundings, taking each step deliberately, as if carrying an invisible weight. The snow crunched under her feet, the only sound in the silent night, except for the distant sounds of operations at the base. "Jessica," Marcus said as he reached the porch, "can I ask you what brought you to Cedar Falls on Christmas Eve?" She stopped, her hand on the railing, and for a moment she thought Marcus would turn and walk away. Instead, he looked up at the stars struggling to shine through the snowfall. "Sometimes," she said quietly, "you need a place where no one knows your story." But Jessica didn't know that Marcus was already a part of her story, and tonight the truth she had kept hidden for 3 years would come out. The inside of Marcus's house was everything Jessica hadn't expected from a single father's home. The living room was warm and inviting, with a Christmas tree in the corner decorated with lights that Tyler had clearly put up himself, judging by the density of the decorations on the lower branches. The furniture was comfortable but not flashy, chosen for durability rather than style. Family photos were arranged on the mantelpiece, photos of a young Marcus with a beautiful woman and a baby who was Tyler. The house smelled of cinnamon and something delicious that reminded him of how long it had been since Jessica had cared about cooking. "Dad," came a voice from the kitchen, and a boy with Marcus's dark hair and his mother's soft smile ran into the room. "Is he a real soldier?" Jessica crouched down to the boy's level and felt a tightness in her chest. "I'm in the Air Force," he said. "I fly jets. Real jets, like the ones that fly over your house. Even faster than those." Tyler's excitement was contagious, and Jessica found herself smiling for the first time in weeks. Tyler's excitement was contagious, and Jessica's face lit up like the Christmas tree behind her. Marcus watched the interaction with a sense of relief, noticing how natural Jessica looked with her son. She wasn't looking down on him or acting fragile. "Are you hungry?" Marcus asked, realizing he couldn't remember the last time Jessica had had a proper meal. The kitchen smelled of cinnamon and something delicious that reminded Jessica of how long it had been since she'd cared about food. But Jessica didn't yet know that this warm evening meal would be the beginning of the biggest confession of her life, because Tyler's innocent question would reveal the terrifying truth she'd been hiding for 3 years. End of episode 1, continues in episode 2. Jessica Carter's heart was racing as she stepped into Marcus Williams' house. The memories she had been running from for 3 years were about to come to life here, in this house. As Marcus let her in, Jessica had only one thought: what if Marcus recognizes her? What if he finds out the truth? "Tyler, we have a guest," Marcus called out. In an instant, the 7-year-old boy ran over, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Are you really a pilot?" Tyler asked excitedly. Jessica crouched down to the child's level. How could she respond to this innocence? How could she tell him that she was the pilot who had changed their lives forever 3 years ago? "Yes, Tyler. I fly F-16s, Jessica said, trying to keep her voice steady. The excitement on Tyler's face made her both happy and heartbroken. "My dad used to design airplanes," Tyler said proudly. "Now he's a veterinarian, but he used to build real airplanes." Jessica's heart stopped. She looked at Marcus in disbelief. "You designed planes?" Marcus nodded. "I was an engineer at Boeing, but life sometimes takes unexpected turns." There was sadness in his voice, and Jessica knew exactly why. During dinner, Jessica watched Marcus and Tyler. This warm family scene was still strong despite the absence of their mother, whom they had lost 3 years ago, but Jessica felt guilty with every bite. She was responsible for the missing piece of this family. "Jessica, where are you from?" Marcus asked. Jessica's hands were trembling as she answered. "From Texas. But I travel a lot. It's for work." Jessica hated lying, but the truth was too heavy to bear. Tyler suddenly jumped up. "I want to show you my airplane collection," he said, pulling Jessica's hand. As they went upstairs, Marcus began. "Tyler loves airplanes. Ever since his mother," but he didn't finish his sentence. There were dozens of toy airplanes in Tyler's room, but Jessica's eyes were fixed on the photo on the wall. "A beautiful woman, Marcus. And baby Tyler. Your mother was very beautiful," Jessica said, her voice barely audible. "My mom died in a plane crash," Tyler said innocently. 3 years ago. My dad was on the plane too, but he didn't die. Sometimes I think I wish my dad had died too." Jessica's world spun. She clung to the wall, struggling to stay on her feet. 3 years ago. A plane crash. Marcus was there. "Tyler," Jessica said, trembling. "What kind of plane crash was it?" But before Tyler could answer, Marcus appeared at the door. "Is everything okay here?" he asked. He noticed Jessica's pale face. "I'm fine," Jessica said quickly. "Just tired." That night, Jessica slept in Marcus's guest room but couldn't sleep. The events of that day kept replaying in her mind. 3 years ago, on that terrible Christmas day. The voice on the radio. "Emergency. Civilian plane engine failure. Headed toward a school with 200 children on board." Jessica had faced a difficult choice that day. She could divert the plane away from the school zone and save 300 people. But the 50 people on the plane would die. Or she could allow the plane to make an emergency landing and try to save everyone. But if she failed, 500 people would die. Jessica had diverted the plane away from the school. She had saved 200 children, but 49 people on the plane had died. Only one person had survived, Marcus Williams. And now she was lying in the home of the man she had saved, next to the husband of the woman she had killed. She loved that woman's child, and that child trusted her. In the morning, Jessica found Marcus making coffee in the kitchen. Tyler was still asleep. "Marcus," Jessica said, her voice trembling. "Can we talk about the accident that killed your wife?" Marcus's hand froze on the coffee cup. He slowly turned to Jessica. "Why?" "Because," Jessica took a deep breath. "Because I think I was the pilot." Silence. A long, heavy silence. Marcus dropped the cup, shattering it on the floor. You what? He whispered. I'm Flight Commander Jessica Carter. 3 years ago on December 23rd, I diverted your plane away from the school. I made the decision that led to Emily's death. Marcus took a step back, as if he had been slapped. His eyes were filled with anger, shock, pain, everything. He began, but the words wouldn't come out. You're the pilot who killed my wife? Jessica couldn't hold back her tears. Marcus, I'm so sorry. I see her every day. Every night I wake up, because— Get out, Marcus shouted. Get out of my house right now. Tyler ran downstairs. Dad? What's going on? Why are you yelling? Marcus looked at his son, then at Jessica. There was a battle raging inside him. Anger, pain, but also understanding. Jessica was already putting on her coat. Tyler, she said to the boy, you're a good boy. Listen to your father, okay? Tyler started crying. Don't go. Please don't go. As Jessica headed for the door, Tyler hugged her. You'll come back, won't you? Jessica couldn't answer. She opened the door and stepped out into the snow-covered street, but she heard Marcus's voice behind her. Jessica, stop. Jessica turned around. Marcus was standing in the doorway holding Tyler in his arms. Do you know what Emily's last words were? Marcus asked. Jessica shook her head. She said to save the children. She had seen a school down there, children playing during recess. She told me to tell the pilot to save the children. Jessica's world stopped.
What?
She understood, Marcus continued. Even in her last moments, she understood what you had to do. She agreed with your decision. Marcus, I killed your wife. No, Marcus said firmly. You saved my life. You saved the lives of 200 children. You made an impossible choice, and you chose the right one. Jessica couldn't breathe. The guilt she had carried for 3 years was beginning to melt away with Marcus's words. But Emily, if Emily were here, she would have approved of your decision. Because she was just like you, someone who put others before herself. Tyler watched them both with wide eyes. Are you going to be friends? He asked innocently. Marcus and Jessica looked at each other. Years of pain, guilt, and loneliness hung between them. But there was also understanding, forgiveness, and maybe even hope. Would you like to show Tyler the animal clinic? Marcus asked. I think we should tell him about Dr. Jessica, the pilot. Jessica was surprised. Dr. Jessica? You had veterinary training in the military, didn't you? As a medic, maybe we can work together. Jessica felt her eyes well up. For the first time in 3 years, she felt at home. Yes, she said. Yes, I'd love to. Tyler clapped his hands. Yay, Jessica's staying. But Marcus noticed the confusion in Jessica's eyes. There was still a lot to work out. Jessica's situation in the military, her reckoning with her past, and the complicated bond between the two of them. Jessica's phone rang. The screen read, Colonel Morrison. Urgent. You need to answer it, Marcus said. Jessica answered. Carter here. Carter, where are you? You were supposed to file a report yesterday. Sir, No explanations. I've sent military police. Return to base immediately. The line went dead. Jessica's face turned pale. What happened? Marcus asked. We're in trouble, Jessica said. Big trouble. When the military police cars pulled up in front of Marcus's house, Jessica's heart was racing. 3 soldiers got out of the cars, armed with orders to arrest Jessica. The sound of engines and radio transmissions echoed through the quiet street of Cedar Falls. Captain Jessica Carter, we have an arrest warrant for you on charges of duel, Sergeant Miller said in a cold voice. You will come with us immediately. Marcus stepped forward, shielding Tyler behind him. Wait a minute, this woman is my guest. What crime has she committed? Sir, this is a military matter. Captain Carter abandoned her post 48 hours ago. She didn't report to her commander. Jessica raised her hands. Okay, I'm coming. But she turned to Marcus, her eyes pleading. Tell Tyler, tell him I'll never forget him. And you, thank you for forgiving me. Tyler watched from the window, his eyes teary. Dad, they're taking Jessica away. But Marcus did something unexpected. No, he said firmly. That's not right. Sergeant Miller was surprised. Sir, this woman saved my life 3 years ago. She saved the lives of 200 children, and now she's struggling with PTSD. I want to help her. Jessica was in shock. Marcus was trying to protect her. Sir, military law does not permit civilian intervention. Then speak to Colonel Morrison, said Marcus. I am Dr. Marcus Williams. I worked at Boeing for 10 years, and now I am the veterinarian in this town. And this woman will be working at my clinic. Sergeant Miller hesitated. I need to speak with my commander. Half an hour later, Colonel Morrison's military vehicle arrived. He was a tall, stern-looking man. Jessica stiffened at the sight of him. "Colonel Morrison, sir." "Carter, you've had a 15-year career with no issues. What the hell are you doing?" Before Jessica could respond, Marcus intervened. "Colonel, I'm Dr. Marcus Williams. I can explain Jessica's situation." Morrison eyed Marcus. "Who are you?" "I was the only survivor of Flight 47 3 years ago. The man Jessica saved." Morrison's expression changed. "Flight 47. I remember that tragedy. Carter, was that you?" "Yes, sir." "Was it your decision that led to the deaths of 49 people to save 200 children?" Jessica shook her head, tears streaming down her face. Morrison took a deep breath. "Carter, you made an impossible choice that day. And you made the right choice. But why have you been carrying this for 3 years? Why didn't you ask for help?" Because I thought I killed them. Especially Emily Williams, Marcus's wife." Morrison looked at Marcus. "And you're facing the pilot who killed your wife. How do you feel?" Marcus looked at Jessica. "I feel grateful. My wife knew what was right, even in her last moments. She told me to save the children. And Jessica did that." Morrison was silent for a long time. Then he turned to Jessica. "Carter, I'm going to give you a medical discharge. You'll get treatment for PTSD. And if Dr. Williams is willing to have you work at his clinic, you can stay here." Jessica couldn't believe it. "Sir, you've been an exemplary pilot for 15 years. I'm not going to ruin your career because of one mistake. But there's one condition: you'll get treatment." Tyler ran out and hugged Jessica. You're staying. As Morrison left, Marcus approached Marcus. "Dr. Williams, be careful. Carter is a good pilot, but he's deeply wounded. It will take patience." "I understand, Colonel." After the soldiers left, Marcus, Jessica, and Tyler were alone in the house. The silence was heavy. "Jessica," Marcus said, "if you're really going to stay here, we need to set some rules." Jessica listened carefully. "Rule number 1. We don't talk about the past. Emily is gone, but you're here. Tyler needs a new mother figure. Marcus." "Rule number 2. We'll work together at the veterinary clinic. You have medical knowledge. I have veterinary knowledge. We'll make a good team." "Rule number 3. Tyler's safety comes first. He loves you, and I won't let you disappoint him." Jessica nodded. "I understand. What's the 4th rule?" Marcus smiled. "Rule number 4. We'll try to be happy. The 3 of us together." That night, Jessica stayed in Marcus's guest room. But this time it was different. She no longer felt guilty. For the first time in 3 years, she slept peacefully. In the morning, Tyler woke her up. "Jessica, Dad's going to show you the clinic." The veterinary clinic was large and filled with modern equipment. Marcus showed Jessica everything. The operating room, the patient rooms, the pharmacy. "Impressive," said Jessica. "Do you run this place alone?" "Yes, and it's very tiring. I need a partner." Their first patient was a dog with a broken leg. Jessica watched Marcus work. His hands were so skilled, and he was so gentle with the animals. "Would you like to help?" Marcus asked. Jessica hesitated.
"I've only worked with people."
"Anatomy is the same, just smaller." Jessica approached slowly and helped Marcus. Her hands were shaking, but she focused. She helped Marcus stabilize the dog's leg. "Great," said Marcus. "You have a natural talent." The dog's owner was an elderly woman, Mrs. Henderson. "Dr. Williams, who is your lovely assistant?" "This is Dr. Jessica Carter," said Marcus. "My new partner." Mrs. Henderson was surprised. "Are you a veterinarian?" "I have military medical training," Jessica said, "but I'm learning to work with animals." "Then welcome to Cedar Falls, Dr. Carter." Days passed, and Jessica grew accustomed to working at the clinic. She learned something new every day. Marcus was a patient teacher, and Jessica progressed quickly. In the evenings, the 3 of them ate dinner together. Tyler did his homework, and Marcus and Jessica talked about their future plans. "Jessica," Tyler said one evening, "will you be my new mom?" Jessica and Marcus were taken aback. "Tyler," Marcus said, "this is a very complicated subject. Why, Jessica loves us, and we love her, and my mom is gone. Jessica can stay." Jessica stroked Tyler's hair. "Tyler, I'm your friend. I'll always be here. But don't you want to be a mom?" Jessica looked at Marcus. Marcus was looking at her too. There were unspoken feelings between them. "Tyler," Jessica said, "sometimes life is complicated, but I love you very much. That's for sure." That night, Marcus and Jessica were sitting on the porch. The snow had stopped and the stars were out. "Jessica," Marcus said, "Tyler is right. You're happy here, aren't you?" "Yes. For the first time in years, I really feel at home. What about us? This situation, isn't it weird? Jessica decided to be honest. Marcus, I think I'm starting to love you. But I don't know if it's right. Maybe I'm just grateful to be free of guilt. Marcus turned to her. Jessica, I love you too. But I'm scared. Why? Because I still love Emily. And being with you feels like betraying her. Jessica placed her hand on Marcus's. Emily would want you to be happy. She would want Tyler to be happy. How do you know that? Because she was a mother. And mothers always want their children to be happy. Marcus looked into Jessica's eyes. What about you? Do you really want to stay here? Give up your military career to be a veterinarian in a small town? Marcus, I've been fighting for 15 years. I've seen death. I've taken lives. Now I want to save lives. Both people and animals. And I want a family. Marcus stood up and took Jessica's hand. Then let's make it official.
What?
Marcus got down on one knee. Jessica Carter, will you marry me? Jessica held her breath. Marcus, isn't this too fast? My life was turned upside down in a plane crash. Then you came and fixed everything. I don't want to waste any time. Jessica nodded, tears streaming down her face. Yes, I'll marry you. Tyler ran out from inside. I heard. Jessica is going to be my mom. The three of them hugged each other. Jessica, Marcus and Tyler. A complete family. 6 months later, the wedding took place in the small church in Cedar Falls. The whole town came. Jessica was wearing a white wedding dress. Tyler stood beside her, and Marcus was experiencing the happiest day of his life. As the priest spoke, he said, "Sometimes life's greatest tragedies turn into the most beautiful stories. This couple shows us that forgiveness, love, and starting over are possible." After placing flowers on Emily's grave, the wedding began. Thank you, Emily. I'll watch over them. They didn't go anywhere for their honeymoon. Cedar Falls was their home now. They worked together at the clinic, raised Tyler, and built a new life. A year later, Jessica became pregnant. Tyler was thrilled to hear he was going to have a sister. Will the baby be a pilot? Tyler asked. We don't know, Jessica said, but I'll teach him to fly. Both in real life and in his dreams. Marcus stroked Jessica's belly. We're going to love this baby so much. Can we name him after Emily? Jessica asked. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. Emily Rose Williams. Perfect. As the sun set over Cedar Falls, Marcus, Jessica, and Tyler sat on the porch of their home. The baby kicked in Jessica's belly. Tyler worked on his homework, and Marcus thought about the day's patients. Jessica, said Tyler, are you really happy? Jessica smiled. Tyler, I've never been this happy in my life. Good. Because you're part of our family now. And families don't abandon each other. Never, said Jessica. I'll never abandon you. Marcus took Jessica's hand. Everything she had lost 3 years ago had come back. It was different, but it was back. And now it was even better. Because sometimes the best days come after the worst. Sometimes loss creates a chance to find something new. And sometimes forgiveness is stronger than love. Jessica Carter was no longer just a pilot. She was now a wife, a mother, a doctor, and most importantly, part of a family. When she saw the jets flying in the sky above Cedar Falls, she no longer felt guilty. She felt proud, because those jets represented freedom, and Jessica was finally free. While working with Jessica at the veterinary clinic, Marcus Williams thought about how life could take such surprising turns. The greatest loss had turned into the greatest gain, and Tyler, dreaming of becoming a pilot with his new mother Jessica, knew that his mother Emily was watching over them from the sky. In Cedar Falls, the snow had started to fall again. But this time, it didn't bring cold or loneliness. It brought warmth and love. Because home isn't a place. Home is the people you're with. And Marcus, Jessica, and Tyler had finally found their home.